X is going, that's actually who you're voting for, not Xing out the other person. Social media rumor report that voting machines in Texas are changing voters' selections to opposite party candidates in the state's U.S. Senate race. Voting machines in Texas are changing, mixture. Some voters in Texas have reported that their votes in the Cruz O'Rourke Senate race were being reversed to select the opposite party candidate. The problem is known user error issue with voting machines used in some Texas counties that can occur when the straight ticket option is selected. An election official says it generally results in choices being left blank rather than party switched. In October 2018, reports began appearing on social media that voters in Texas were seeing their votes for the hotly contested U.S. Senate race between Republican incumbent Ted Cruz and Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke being switched to the opposite party when they selected the straight party or straight ticket option. Check your ballots. This is happening right now in Texas. Ted Cruz is listed in the straight Dem ballot. Indeed, some voters in Texas have reported that when using the straight ticket option, i.e. automatically making candidates from the same party for every race on voting machines, their selection for the U.S. Senate race were either left blank or reversed. With some Democratic voters, ballots were being marked for Republican Ted Cruz and some Republican voters, ballots being marked for Democrat candidate Beto O'Rourke. Texas elections officials confirmed that voting machines used in 30% of the counties, including its biggest, are switching people's votes, including the Senate race between Ted Cruz and Beto O'Rourke. The GOP-appointed official says they have no legal authority to update them. Despite complaints from both sides about voting irregularities and of election tampering, the Houston Chronicle quoted Sam Taylor, communication director for Secretary of State, as saying that only about 15 to 20 people had complained to the state so far. Most of them reported that their ballot for the U.S. Senate race had been left blank rather than party switched. Some Democratic voters who reported problems with their ballots being marked for Ted Cruz in the Senate race also noted they were able to obtain assistance in changing their votes back to what they intended, rather than being the result of a plot by one side or the other to subvert the U.S. Senate election. These voting anomalies are a known problem that surfaced during the 2016 election with Hardy slate voting machines used in about a third of Texas counties. The problem occurs on Hardy slate voting machines when voters turned a selected dial and hit the enter button. According to the state, 82 of the 254 counties in Texas have these machines, although complaints have only come from Fort Bend, Harris, McLean, Montgomery, Tarrant, Travis. So Tarrant is Fort Worth. Travis is, I think, down in Houston. It does pop up from time to time, said Taylor. Voters should double and triple check and slow down before casting their ballot. Yeah, after they've been waiting forever and people are behind them going, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Yeah, slow down and make sure that the machine isn't breaking down. Harris County officials have echoed that the issue is a voter error and not a problem with the machines. Some voters who have tried to cast a straight ticket ballot for Republicans have also found the machine erasing the vote for Ted Cruz and records no selection for U.S. Senate. The Texas Tribune similarly, reported that the state officials had characterized the issue as one of voter error rather than machine malfunction. Yeah, they're saying that so you don't lose patience or hope that who you're voting for isn't fake. It's not a foregone conclusion that if you vote this way, it's going to switch it. According to Texas Secretary of State office, the voting machines are not at fault. Rather, the problem reported are the result of voter hitting a button or using the selection wheel before the screen is finished rendering, which deselects the pre-filled candidate selection. Why is it taking so long for it to render? This shouldn't take that long, boys and girls of the state. God. This issue is occurring primarily with the U.S. Senate race selections because it is at the top of the ballot, said Sam Taylor, a spokesman for the Secretary of State. Hart E. Slate said it simply records the voter's input. It does not and cannot flip or switch votes. A spokesman also said that their voting device complied with the state election code and have been used reliably across Texas since 2002. So we're relying on something that is 16 years old. Most importantly, the E-Slate displays all voters' choices on ballot summary page once the voter has made all selections. The statement said this gives the voters the opportunity to verify that they have marked the intended choices before casting the ballot. If the voter has mismarked a choice or has changed their mind, they have options of returning to any contest that needs to be changed. According to Secretary of State Hart E. Slate, voting machines have an enter button and a selected wheel to help voters select their choice candidate. The office advises voters to use one button at a time and to not hit the enter button or use the selection wheel until page is fully rendered. Okay, E-Slate, get your together. And man, this is a long article for something that just popped out. And this is 6 hours ago that people are still reporting it. Counties that use other brands of voting machines, such as Baxter County, have experienced complaints from voters of somewhat similar areas, primarily that when voters cast straight ticket ballots, the machines leave blank any race in which their favored party doesn't have a candidate. Texas elections officials said that the cost of upgrading the machines in time for the 2018 midterm was expensive. The Hart E-Slate voting machines in Texas were last certified in 2009, meaning most of this equipment is at least that old, Taylor said. Upgrading these machines is costly. $50 million would just cover costs to upgrade machines in Harris, Dallas, and Tarrant County, he said. It wouldn't even put a dent in the cost of upgrading machines statewide. Here's the thing. Take profit out of voting booths. Seriously, guys, this is ridiculous. If you're not going to put it on a freaking phone and then you put everything out so that this is the best way to do it. Put it all on your phone, and then instead of watching the CNN garbage or Fox News garbage. When your vote is going in and it tells you the county that you came in, everybody has a pause button. Everybody can take a picture and they can screenshot their phone who they voted for. Why don't you just run that across the screen? Everybody's vote. Everybody should, that's a way to do it. People won't like it because everybody will know who you voted for. But if you want to find out who people voted for, it's not that hard to do. That's why I've never voted in my life. Because I don't trust it. Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill into law that will eliminate the straight ticket voting option in 2020. Straight ticket voting, the option for voters to check one box to cast a ballot for every candidate from a single political party, is not available in most states, but it accounted for nearly 64% of total votes casted in Texas. 10 largest counties in 2016 general election. House Bill 25 removes the straight ticket option from Texas ballot after 2020. So, if y'all don't know, because I don't think I'm going to put it in this is just going to talk about this. I am doing a video. I think I'm going to do a series on it since I think it's something I can sink my teeth into. It's going to be a video on, it's going to be a series. And I was actually recording it, and it's actually in the same recording, so I'm going to have to chop it up. It's going to be about who's giving us our news and who has been so influential in the last 10 years. So, because y'all can see here, this is on Jemele Hill, and she's going to be the first one because I remember when you would get out of school, if you went to college, or if, for people that watch sports shows after school, she would come on right at 4 o'clock every day. They used to have that for right when kids got home, and it used to be sports, and then it turned into debates, and then it was controversies of the day. And that show started in 2011. And it was called Numbers Never Lie. And then it got changed to His and Hers. And Jemele Hill just after leaving ESPN and the Undefeated, she has taken a job at the Atlantic. Yeah, the Atlantic. And I just went, the whole reason I even went to this was because I went on Twitter to see how many sports stories that she was actually covering. I found one in the last 36 hours, and she tweets a lot. She's probably done another tweet since I've made this video. And 10 minutes before I did the video, she tweeted 6 times. And this is what this is a person that did the interview with for those setups for the Obamas when they would do their when he would come on ESPN, weirdly ESPN, to do a State of the Union round table with people to ask questions, citizens to ask questions to him, and he would go on there. So I was what in the hell is this? How is ESPN getting this? He used to come on for March Madness and all this kinds of stuff, and that's where he would do any of his stuff that he knew he was gonna, what people would think would be straight down the line, stuff like that. And the reason I'm going to be doing this is because I was watching a interview that Let's see if I can come over here. Yeah, I was looking at this video. Let's look at the history on my stuff. And actually, I'm gonna bring that over here and look at it real quick. Only reason is because I don't want to see all the crazy stuff. Because some of the stuff I haven't watched, I just let it play in the background when I'm going to bed. It auto plays. So it was this interview right here. And I will put this in the bottom, in the description. Because I think if you don't know who he is, this is Jason Whitlock. And you could say that he's the opposite. He's on the opposite side of Jamel Hill on most topics. And this was a really good interview. And this is from June 24th this year. And it's the Daily Wire website. So Ben does Sunday Special, and they're really good interviews. He puts ads in them, but he reads them like live. And it's just like insurance stuff like that. But it's a really good little series that they have going. Like they had Rogan on there. They had, who was the Dirty Jobs guy? I'm trying to remember who did the Dirty Jobs show. Yeah, like they have Scott Adams was on there 2 days ago. They had Jordan Peterson on them. Let me go back to home. And probably need to take that off, don't I? Whoops. Nope. So, they had Rogan on there, Dr. Drew, Dave Rubin. Let's see. Prager. Where is it? Mike Rowe. They had Mike Rowe on here. And it was a very interesting conversation. He is trying to do something that most people... He's not political. And he goes on there to talk about people that went out and did trade jobs or went to trade school or learned a trade in high school or something that has affected him because of his show. And of course they didn't tell you everything on the show because he didn't want it to be about money. Because he, on the Dirty Job show, he goes, I got to meet like 15 to 45 people that owned that business that were multi-millionaires. And it was jobs that people didn't want to do. And then I actually have a recording of that I'm going to put, I don't know where I'm going to put it into any of this, like in the next couple weeks, but it was the Adam Carolla show, and he interviewed, who was it? Tucker Carlson. And I'll put that in this also. So if y'all want to go watch that, I'd suggest to go watch it. It's a really good interview. And it opened my eyes to see different things that I haven't really thought about really. And it actually goes into everything that's happening with the secret space program and all that, and just like the hippie type of person, which I'm cool with the hippie people. I think it's perfectly fine as long as you don't let it take over your life. Like, I think everything's good as long as you don't let something take over your life that is what, like when you go and talk to people, oh, I'm a Republican, oh, I'm a Democrat, or I'm an independent. Like, that's not something that people should know, or that shouldn't come up in conversation. Like, people shouldn't know by how you talk, especially like on Facebook, people shouldn't be able to tell that from you, I don't think. And because how bad it is today, you will burn bridges just by letting people know. And that was really, really interesting, because everyone thinks that Adam Carolla is like a Republican. He goes, no, I'm not a Republican. He goes, I just never had people tell me what to think. He's like, I never was swayed, like when he started reading books out of that weren't from school and stuff. He didn't have like a preference of like certain people that he likes more than others, like reading wise. And like newspapers, he didn't have a preference on who he read. And I think that's a big key. People get in these echo chambers and think that what they're reading or watching is the truth, and they think whatever it's going to be, like if it's Drudge Report, they're going to think that's true. They're going to think the Wall Street Journal. See, I don't know who the opposite of it is. The Wall Street Journal is going to be lying to them. People that read the Wall Street Journal and agree with a lot of stuff that they talk about in it are going to think Drudge Report is lying about everything, but they're getting the truth through Wall Street Journal. Like CNN, or I would say CNN and Fox News. Like if you watch CNN, you think that Fox News is going to be reporting lies, like fiction, conspiracy. And the crazy thing is, if you watch Fox News, you think the same thing of CNN. And I remember when Brian Williams, like right before he got in trouble and everything, I remember, so his daughter is like not a really big actress, but she was on that girl show. And I was listening to Nerdist, which is funny because this was way before, this was like 2 years ago I was listening to it. And she was talking, she was like, yeah, Chris Hardwick asked, so do you pay attention to the news, like, or do you get so tired and frustrated by it that you don't even want anything to do with it? He goes, oh no, I love it. It's so addicting. Like, that's somebody that's, her family is in the news industry, and she's addicted to it like it's a soap opera. I think that is the problem. They've made these cable channels must see appointment television that agrees with what you think. They aren't telling you the news. They're feeding you what you want to eat. And you're throwing all that crap up for everybody that's in your timeline, or will even talk about something political. Like I saw, so Jamel Hill did a tweet saying that we're sending 2,500 troops or 5,200 troops down to the border to make sure that the caravan is stopped and it doesn't get into the United States. And she goes, oh yeah, that's great. We're stopping people from coming in that are coming from gang infected and all this stuff and all this crazy stuff. Like, yes, they're trying to get away from that place. How are they going to get into Mexico? Mexico has a border that's more secured than ours. And they deport people. Everybody wants to think that they don't, like, they just let people come in and then they, like, try and live there, and then, like, the gangs have gotten too bad and the cartels have gotten too bad. Yes, the cartel is really bad, and they're here in Texas. They're at anything that has a coastal front or that's connected to Mexico. They're there. That that group that we went to war with, they're in Texas. I saw a map from, I don't know how to say this, a police friend. And I think I've talked about it before, like the person that it was. Of the map of people that are involved, like known to be involved with that are here in Texas and in the United States. And this was like 3 years ago when he showed me it, because we were talking about it, and he was like, "You wouldn't believe the crap that we know, and we just have to wait until information is able to be acted on." And that's like what happened in Grand Prairie a couple years ago, when they had the art that they were drawing, and it was like I think Rogan has it on his special. He goes, so somebody went there to try to kill them, and I'm doing a terrible job on this. And he goes, it's in Texas. Do you not see the trap? But that's the type of thing that once it's actable on, that's when they can go after them. They can't really do anything until they actually break a law or threaten people. And these people are being really sneaky about what they're on, like social media wise. And I know that people in the past, what they used to do was in emails, they would type out an email and put it saved to draft, and everybody would have access to their email account. And then once everybody read it, they would delete the saved to draft. And now we have these there's so many chat sites now that it would be hard to keep up on date on all of them. I'm forgetting the name of the one that Mark Cuban has, but it's really like Snapchat, and it deletes everything. But it's gotta have, like, when Mark Cuban, the whole reason that this was right before he got in trouble with the SEC for knowing about something before it was like financially, like it was known to the public, like insider trading. And he built this right after that, like right after he got in trouble with that. So I don't know if it has a server that has all this on it. Cyberdust, that's what it's called. And I don't know if it has everything on it. Like I don't know if it might be one of the only things that doesn't keep everything. But I'm rambling. Y'all have a good rest of the day. I might do some of these news stories like this in the future, and then my gaming, I'll show my face all the time, or maybe not. Just trying to test some things out, see how I like it either way. But y'all have a good rest of the day. Peace. Love y'all all, and have a good rest of the day. And don't let these controversies take over your life. Peace. Boom.